Hello, I'm Don McCauley from Chicago. Today I'm going to talk to you about an anal fissure tear that I had for well over a year. I've recently healed, and I want to give you hope because I know that you're probably having self-doubt. There's a lot of highs and lows, and you just wonder if this is ever going to heal, and I'm here to tell you it will. First person I'd like to give credit to is Dr. Albert Chung. He has a YouTube channel called Your Friendly Proctologist. I've probably watched about 15 videos total. I learned just as much from him as I did the people in the comment section talking about their trials and tribulations. So those comments were invaluable to me. We have a family physician that practiced in Chicago for 50 years, Dr. David Shiner, and he was able to listen to a lot of the things that I was going through and make suggestions. He was also President Obama's doctor for over 16 years before he went to the White House. At one point, Dr. Shiner agreed with my first physician that said I should have a Botox procedure or a sphincterotomy, and I resisted both of those and wanted to continue doing research. By eating better, I lost over 20 pounds in 2.5 months. I like to exercise with Supernatural, which is a subscription on the Oculus, which is owned by Meta, Facebook. Virtual reality exercising makes it a little bit more fun to exercise, and it was low impact. We do yoga once a week. I learned to do Kegels, helping the pelvic floor region relax so you can pass your stools a little easier. Different poses like bird dog. There's just a whole bunch of things that you can do related to yoga that really does help in this. I also have an elliptical machine at home. I would set it on a low setting, and it was just like walking, and that really helped relax things too. You've got to keep moving. You know, at one point I just wanted to sit around and just relax and just let this thing heal from just relaxing like I was in a hospital bed. But from everything I read, they're like, don't do this. You've got to have some activity, and so I just persevered. Miralax was a stool softener that I used off and on, and then in the last 30 days of my journey, I used it for 30 consecutive days. I was a little worried about it. I consulted with the doctors. I did a lot of research, and it pointed me in the direction that this was going to work for me, and it did. You have to drink a lot of water. Nobody likes to drink water, in my opinion, so I would put Mio in it, which is a flavor enhancer type of a thing. I would drink sparkling water. I would drink tea. I would take a fiber supplement every day. Metamucil is a brand name, but I would use one from Costco that was sugar-free. You really don't need the sugar. And I learned just as much about eating proper foods as certain foods to avoid. I also learned not to eat too much. I would have 1 spoonful of beans, 1 spoonful of lentils, 1 spoonful of mashed potatoes. I was trying to limit having really gigantic stools. At a couple different junctures early on, I was having, it felt like 2 to 3 foot stools, and you know, I would have 2 bowel movements a day, and people were saying, you don't want to do this, you need to avoid this. So I would restrict some of the things that I would eat, not from a calorie standpoint, but from just the amount I was eating. I also avoided meat, and I wouldn't sit down throughout the day. I just was constantly standing. Some foods that I ate that were very helpful and enjoyable to eat were tofu, chia seeds that were soaked in water for 10 minutes. I drank a cup of coffee every day. I'm not a coffee drinker, but it was recommended, and I just treated it like it was like a medicine. I'd eat oatmeal every day, kiwi, smoothies every day, watermelon 3 to 4 times a week. I'd steam foods every day. I steamed spinach, kale, fruits, pears, apples, but I would avoid the peels. People were like, don't eat those peels. They're not going to be good when they pass through you. I went to get a second opinion on the sphincterotomy and having Botox, and the doctor at that time looked at me and she said, you are healing. that gave me hope. That made me feel like, okay, if I just persevere and I keep doing all the right things, I'm gonna get this thing healed. And my last visit, she said, you are healed. The only thing I see is a scar. During the journey, I use the squatty potty every day for my bowel movements. I would definitely recommend getting one of those. Sitz bath, I would use that 3, 4, 5 times a day. And the sitz bath is fantastic, and I still will use it just because it's just nice, it's relaxing, it's soothing, and you'll appreciate that. I was recommended by Dr. David Shiner to use Perplexity AI. It's free. It was unbelievable the amount of information that I could obtain from that, from the artificial intelligence pulling in the different sources of information and fine-tuning with follow-up questions. Any way, shape, or form I could think of to ask questions related to the anal fissure tear, it was able to give me just fantastic information. I did not drive for over 4 months. Everywhere I went, I rode in the back of an SUV with air mattress, blankets, pillows. Valerie drove me everywhere. Because I live in Chicago and we do have good public transportation, and I'm an outside sales rep, I needed to get from point A to point B once in a while, and I would take the bus and I would take the train, and I would stand. It was a pain in the butt, but no pun intended, but I kept the pressure off my down area, and I'm so glad that I always went the extra mile to stand. The worst 2 days that I ever had during this journey was because I ate tortilla chips. After I'd ate these tortilla chips and I had 2 miserable evenings and days, I did the research and it said there's 3 foods to avoid: tortilla chips, nuts, and popcorn. I was also eating lots of nuts. And as my brother said, that was acting like shrapnel going through my body. So when I eliminated those, that improved things too. The last thing I want to tell you is we go to yoga at our health club every Tuesday night. And for all these months and months and months, Valerie would drive us home. And we would have the pillows and the blankets and the air mattress in the back. So even after I've been healed, we were getting ready to go home, and I said, hey, why don't you climb in the back and lay down in there and relax and enjoy the journey. She was overjoyed. She thought, wow, this is really cool. So we are not in a hurry to take out that type of scenario in the back of our SUVs. So give that some thought too. I'm convinced if I were to continue to sit in the back or sit in the front seat of a vehicle or drive, this thing still probably wouldn't have healed. Everything that you can do is going to contribute towards a healing. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section and I'll be happy to try to give you some additional information that I may have left out.